Hello everyone, this is Kleri from Shadow Moon Tarot. Welcome back to my channel, and this is the second part of 31 Days of Tarot 2020 hosted by Ethony. In this video I want to cover days 4 till 10, and I hope to be a quick video, so I'll jump right into the questions and I will link Ethony's video with the prompts down below. Day 4. 5 most used decks between 2010 and 2019, and obviously when I started using the tarot it was more than 20 years ago, and back then there wasn't such a variety of decks out and about. I had the stalked and I had the Rider-Waite-Smith, and that was the deck that I have been using for over 15 years, and it's one of my, well, it's my most used deck. And later on, like in the last 3 years or so, when I discovered the tarot community and all these decks that were out there, and YouTube and stuff, I bought the Steampunk Tarot by Barbara Moore, and this is a deck that I have been using a lot for readings for myself and for other people, and it's a deck that I know that it's not everyone's cup of tea. It's a themed deck, and therefore, like, some people will like it, some people won't, but I find that it's a deck that reads very well. It's very easily relatable to, and I get a lot of intuitive messages. Like, I read this deck not only using the traditional meanings that I know from studying the tarot, but also from how I feel looking at the cards, and messages that just come from my soul, basically, because this deck really speaks to me, and it's a beautiful deck. Then another deck that I have been using for over 20 years, and it's very well worn, is just a standard playing card deck that used to be white, and now it's like it's almost tea stained, and it has become velvety, and it used to be kind of hard, and now it's been totally bendy, but I love that because it's been so well used and loved that, yeah, it's amazing. Now, one of the first Oracle decks that I bought is the Wisdom of the Oracle, and you can see that it has been well used because the guidebook, like the plastic thing, is peeling off, and I have to say that this is a very great reader. The keywords and the guidebook are really great for readings. I don't connect with the artwork that well, but I find that it reads amazingly, and I do enjoy reading with this deck, and I have been using it for a very long time, for the first 1 or 2 years that I got it, and it's a beautiful deck to use, especially for practical everyday readings. Then the deck that I got, because it has no keywords, was the Oracle of Visions. I got this like 3 years ago or something, and this is a great deck if you want to work with your intuition, because it has in the book there are keywords and stuff, but on the cards there is nothing. So but I feel that the images really speak to me. Like, I get lost in them, and through the symbols, and I just get messages, and I feel that this is a great deck for someone that wants to connect and work with their intuition, and like believe that they can they can read decks, because that proves that you can read. You can read anything. It doesn't have to be a deck. It can be a picture. It can be something outside. If you focus on something, and if you allow your intuition to speak to you, then you can read anything. And that deck proved that to me. And I really, really enjoy this deck. I think it's a beautiful deck. I know that not many people speak about it these days, but I find that it's a real gem. And that was the Oracle of Visions by Ciro Marchetti. And let's go to the next day. 5. What has using the tarot taught you in 2010 to 2019? Well, when I started using the tarot, it was before 2010. Like I said, it was more than 20 years ago, and there was no internet, there was no tarot community, YouTube or anything. It was just me and my deck and a book. And where I come from, the tarot was mostly used as a fortune-telling method. And because I don't believe that everything is set in stone, this didn't really hit the mark for me. So the way I was using the tarot was to navigate through things that I thought were meant to happen. And later on, when I found out about the tarot community and I started reading more books and all that, what I found out was that the tarot can be used in many different ways, and like for self-growth, for understanding the self, for meditation and path working and all these wonderful things. And that made me feel even a stronger connection and bond with the tarot. And I think that it's really good luck that today we have this tarot community where we can learn so many new things and get so many new ideas about how we can use this tool, because the tarot is basically a tool, and as every tool, the more you learn about how to use it and the better you can use it, the more you gain. And this is what this decade taught me about the tarot. 6. What decks are you anticipating in 2020 and why? Well, in 2019 I was doing a depth year, and I have to say that although it taught me a lot, it didn't quite work as I was expecting. This year I'm redoing the depth year, but I'm not focusing on low buy or no buy. I have no low buy and no buy rules. However, I'm focusing on mindfulness, and to me that makes a lot more sense. And because of that, I'm not actively going out looking for decks that will come out and blah blah blah. I'm not interested in getting new decks into my collection. At the moment I feel that my collection is quite substantial, and there are a lot of decks that I haven't had the chance to study, and therefore I'm not actively anticipating any decks. But I have some decks that have been on my wish list for years. Some of them are out of print, some of, like the Tower of the Crown, and some of them are indie decks that were out of my price range. And if any of them come out as mass market or re-released and stuff, or at a reasonable price within my range, then I will jump at the chance to buy them. And so these are decks that I'm gonna have, I will keep an eye on, and if they come, then that will be anticipating decks. I don't know if that quite answers the question, but yeah. 7. The tarot card that stalked you in 2019 and why? Well, I didn't really have a stalker card as such. I had some 3s and 9s and some kings popping up quite often, And I think the overall message was, you know, it's time to persevere and time to push yourself and manage your skill, like master your skills and move forward. And this is what I'm trying to do in 2020. 9. No, sorry, 8. What tarot books did you read in 2019? I've started quite a few books and I haven't finished them all, so I'm not gonna go through all of them. However, I'm gonna mention Your Tarot Card by Ethony. This is a book that got published in 2019. It's a great read on the core cards. It's written in a very interesting and light way, and it's very enjoyable read, and it has a lot to offer when you want to study the core cards. It's a great read. I highly recommend that. Then another book that I have read in the past and I'm revisiting quite often through the years is The Tarot for Yourself by Mary Kay Greer. It's my all-time favorite tarot book. It's a workbook. It has the meanings of the cards, so it is for beginners, but it also has ways to work with the tarot and to work with yourself as well. It has amazing exercises, and therefore that I like doing and redoing, and therefore it's a great book that I would encourage anyone that is interested in tarot to read. This year I read quite a few guidebooks, but the one that really stood out for me was the Druidscraft Tarot, the big book, because there are two different editions. The second edition has a smaller guidebook that has less pages. This one has how many? About 190 something pages. At the back there are some spreads. Most of the book talks about the meaning of the cards, but the cards are presented in a very practical way, and also it has some approaches to the meanings that were quite refreshing to me. So I really like this guidebook, and I can imagine that I will refer back quite often, because I did really enjoy the interpretations of the cards. And last but not least, I read this book that, like, I have made so many tabs, and it's so well read that it's like the plastic is peeling off and stuff. This is Tarot, the Open Reading by Yov Bendov, and this is supposed to be a guide to studying the Tarot de Marseille. However, I would say that this is not just for people that want to read the Marseille. It's an eye-opener, because it has so much information about the major arcana that is basically the same with the Rider-Waite-Smith, and I found that it gave me so much that it was a game changer. Like, it explains how you can read past, present and future in one card, and also how you can see the conscious and the unconscious in the same card, and like different ways of reading that I found very, very helpful, and that I want to incorporate in my tarot reading practice in general, regardless if it's Tarot de Marseille or Thoth or the Rider-Waite-Smith. So this is a book that, if you want to expand your horizons, it's a great book to read. Then, 9. What was a memorable reading in 2019? Well, I had several readings that were quite important to me, but one reading that was personal. It was about, I was considering about making some changes in my life, and I wonder if that was the right time. So I used the tarot to find out if it was the right time to make these changes. And I got the message, no, it's not the right time. The conditions are not favorable. And I could feel it in my heart that that was the right message. However, my brain, my logic couldn't explain why was that the case. However, I did hold back and I didn't make the changes. And a few months later, Ivan got diagnosed with rare cancer, and then I realized why that wasn't the right time. And that just proves to me that tarot works and that we all have the answers inside us. Like, we really have the answers, but even when we cannot explain with our mind why. And yeah, that was a reading that really like had an impact on me. And I think that we need to give this message that we need to believe in ourselves. We need to believe that we have the answers, even if we cannot explain logically why that's the answer. 10. Share some of your tarot decks that have been long lost in your collection that you want to reconnect with. Well, I have several decks that I have in my collection for years and I haven't really worked with them. Like, yeah, I have used them like I use all my decks, but I haven't really worked with them. Some of them will probably remain like that for a bit longer because I have big plans for this year. And this year I want to focus on 2 decks as study decks. One is a deck that I don't have right here with me because it is in my home country and I'm expecting my mom to send it to me. And this is the Thoth deck, which was gifted to me at my birthday when I was 19 years old. And I really want to dive into the Thoth system this year. And I really feel very positive about it. And the second deck is not a deck that has been long lost because it's a deck that has just been released. It's been in my collection for a few months. I have worked a little bit with it, but not deep with it. And this is the Spirit Keepers Tarot by Annabelle Well, a Vitruvian edition. And it's a deck that I really like. And like I said, I have done a few readings and it reads well, but there is so much to study that I'm looking forward to. And because I'm going to work with these 2 decks this year, obviously this won't be the only decks that I will work with, but these are the 2 decks that I want to study this year. And I want to study other things that are not decks. I know that some decks that have been in my collection, like the Mythic Tarot and the Medicine Woman and some others, will remain all myself. But I feel alright with it because I know they hold a space for something in particular, and therefore I don't mind them being there. And I hope that answers the question. Thank you, Ethony, for hosting this great challenge, and thank you everyone for staying with me and supporting me. I'm looking forward to seeing other people's responses, and until next time, have a great time. Much love. Bye.